how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 5, in no particular order, favorite weapons to run this wipe. I've been asked a lot since, there's been a pretty big meta shift, and I feel like, the guns that just people are using in general, we're seeing a lot less M4s, we're seeing a lot less HKs, we're seeing a lot more people running BP, and we're seeing a lot more people running DMRs, such as, the SR25, the RSAS on a rare occasion, mostly M1As, RFBs, 308 MDRs, and then as far as like the other caliber of weapons, I'm definitely seeing a lot more scars than I am M4s and HKs and stuff like that. Which is funny because the 556 MDR used to be a gun that people would use an awful lot over the last couple of wipes since it was introduced. And I don't think I've seen even one person running the 556 MDR. So there's been a definite massive switch over to people running different guns and trying out different builds and testing out different calibers, which is nice because it doesn't mean that, there's one gun that just reigns supreme over everything other than the mutant, because that gun is still broken, but it's still very fun to use. Also, been seeing a massive shift over to SMGs quite a bit. A lot of people are running vectors. A lot of people are still running MPXs. And I even see the odd MP5 here and there, and a whole hell of a lot of UMPs. The UMP is now definitely becoming the ultimate budget run weapon because it's so good at legging people. If you put APs in it, it's very good for headshotting people and generally taking down whatever target that you need taken down, along with being able to kill all of the scab bosses with relative ease other than Killa. I mean, what's not to love? So lads, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into my first gun, which everybody hates. I seem to be the only person who plays EFT right now that actually likes this gun. So ever since the 2 scars came in, I thought, this is awesome. We've got a new 308 weapon, which might take the place of the MDR and some of the other DMRs in the game. And we've also got, the 556 scar. Also, sorry, the 308 scar. I thought it was going to be a successor to the SA58, and we were basically going to have a better SA58. However, that is definitely not the case, because in my opinion, the 308 scar is definitely one of the worst guns in the game. It feels terrible to use. It doesn't really feel very fun. It is not a satisfying gun to use. It's expensive, and I really, really don't like it. I don't really know what to do with it in order to make it better, but there is an absolute 100% solid reason why you never see anybody using it in your raids. Now, that's not to say if you are having success with it, of course, keep running it. But for me, the 556 scar has been super, super fun and super consistent for me. A lot more consistent than HKs and M4s have been this wipe, which is weird because this gun on paper isn't as good. But for whatever reason, I've been having a lot of luck with this one. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've mostly been running it with a Vortex with the RMR on top of it and the Valde. I've even had a few raids where I've tried out, the variable holographic and some of the other scopes on it, and it always seems to do fairly consistently well. So the only thing that makes this gun, the best in slot version is you've got the Grales, you've got the longer barrel, an RK2, and then a Saker suppressor. Everything else, is up to you. You can put whatever you want on it, whatever optic, whatever tactical device. It's completely up to you. But if you haven't given this gun a try, and you've only tried the ones that you get off rogues, because I know a lot of people run the standard rogue variation of the gun, you should definitely go and give the best in slot one a try. If you have the attachments available to you, give it a run. You might surprise yourself. It's a very, very fun gun. Very, very satisfying gun to use. So moving on to my next gun in my top 5, we have the Akmn. Now you might be asking yourself, well, why are you running the Akmn? Well, it's because I actually really, really like the OKP. The OKP has always been one of my favorite optics. I used to always run this on the Val and the VSS, and even the odd time that I used to run an SKS, I would always run the OKP. Always been one of my favorite scopes. It's super, super clear, super, super nice to run, and you need to run the Akmn because the AKM doesn't have the dovetail mount for it. So this is a gun that I'm sure you guys have seen in your raids. A lot of the end game players are pretty much only running AKMs due to the availability and craftability of BP rounds, and the amount that other people are using it means you can scavenge BP rounds from other players that you kill who are running, SKSs, AKMs, whatever else. The ammo is relatively easy to come by. It is, however, expensive to buy from the traders, and it's a fairly expensive craft, but it is absolutely worth it because this gun can do everything. You can put a scope on this, you can snipe with it, you can kill all the bosses with it, you can kill any PMCs that you want with it. It will absolutely demolish Alton visors. It'll go through Tagilla visors. It'll melt class 5, class 6 armor. It'll do absolutely everything for you as long as you're running BP rounds in it. God forbid you have MAIAP rounds in it, and then you will absolutely crush absolutely anything that comes across your line of sight. So what is the build for this gun? It's just a Zukov stock RK3 for the ergo, debal, whatever laser you want on there, whatever optic you want on there. Obviously, you can take this off and you can swap out the rail on top for a dog leg, and you can put whatever optic you want on there, whatever combination. It's completely up to you. And then there's all these other, you know, if you wanted to run a PSO for some reason on this, you could do that, or you could use one of these other mounts, you know, if that was what you're into. And then of course you use the PRS QDC suppressor, which is probably going to get a nerf because it is like super good. It is a fantastic suppressor, and it basically outweighs all of the other better compensators in the game. And then you can run 50 rounders if you want. I have had a few times where I've been like mag dumping an entire 50 rounder and the gun will jam even at 100%. That's just due to the heat buildup on the suppressor. So you can run 30 rounders if you're really afraid of that happening. I don't think that would happen ever, just mag dumping a full 30, but with the 50s it can happen. And then of course, you know, we've got the RK2 on there with the VS combo. And yeah, there it is. That's it. The Akmn, one of my absolute favorites to run. Anytime I'm having a bad day and none of the other guns are cutting the grass for me, I will always pull out the Akmn. And usually after that, I will have a very good time. So moving on to the next gun, we're going to be talking about the SR25. Now, a lot of people are, you know, one or two ways with this gun. Some people like, you know, M1As. Some people like RSASs. Some people like the M1A SASs. For me, it's the SR25. Since last wipe, I got a viewer kit with this gun, and I absolutely popped off, and I survived like almost 10 raids in a row with it. Made a bunch of money. Just absolutely demolished everybody that came across me. This gun has had a pretty cemented place in my heart as one of the best DMRs in the game. I absolutely love this. This gun actually kind of took over my other favorite gun, which was the TX15. I used to run that gun a lot, but this wipe, due to the inconsistencies of 5.56 and it just not really working as well as it used to, in my opinion, I fell back onto the SR25 running M62s in it, and it just absolutely slaps everybody. And then of course the only optic that I ever run on this is the Vortex. I just run it like this, don't even have the little scope on top. If they're too close to use the scope, you just want to point fire them. But this gun is an absolute dream. If you guys haven't tried out this variation of the gun, you can give it a try. Also guys, I know this is technically not the best in slot because you can run the RSAS handguard, which is technically better than this one. However, it looks like somebody shit on my gun, so I am going to use this handguard instead because it looks better. I'm also not a fan of like the fiber optic one either, or fiber optic, is that what you call it? What's that shit called? Carbon fiber. The carbon fiber handguard I'm not really a massive fan of either. But all your guys are going to want for this build is the long barrel, and then you're going to be using an advanced buffer tube along with an MOE stock of whatever color choice, with a rubber butt pad, Grales pistol grip, with the RK2, debal, or whatever tactical device that you like with the CMMG gas block. And then you want the KAC QDC muzzle brake kit on there. Of course, you can also run a canted sight if you are a canted sight enjoyer. I think they look ugly as sin and I absolutely hate them. But there you have it. This is one of my go-to guns this wipe. It's so much fun. I believe I did some shooter board in heaven kills with this wipe as well, and it is just an absolute menace. So let's get on to the next gun. Here we have it, the AK-101. I have mentioned this in my top 5 like favorite guns before. The AK-101 is just a really fun gun to use. I generally tend to have more luck with this than I do with M4s and MKs, or not MKs, but HKs, and even the 5.56 SCAR. This gun is just so fun, and it's just so unique. It's just 5.56 AK. It's just a really good time to use it. I've never not had fun running this gun. You can run it with just a 1X optic on it. You can run it with a Vortex, a Valde, a Bravo, a Hammer, whatever you want. This gun is versatile. It'll do absolutely anything you want. I've been running this with M855A1, and it always does the trick. And it's always a really good time whenever you kill a bunch of people with it, because it's kind of an off-meta gun. It's got a lower fire rate than all the other 5.56s, but it just works. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this gun, but when I use it, I always have a lot of fun. And I think maybe it's when I'm having a lot of fun, maybe I play better. But if you guys have never tried out the AK-101, you can give it a blast. Now, if you don't like the SE5, you can run an RK2, you can run a shift grip, you can run whatever. It doesn't really have that much recoil. This gun runs very well. Very easy to pick up, very easy to go. Also, not really that expensive to mod. If you have the attachments available from the trader, the most expensive thing in this gun is going to be the Saker suppressor, along with the ammo that you run in it. But there's a lot of different combinations you can run this. It's a pretty forgiving gun build. And if you've never given it a try, I absolutely recommend giving it a go. This is a lot of fun, and it's a lot of power in a relatively cheap package. If you don't want to use the Sacred Suppressor, you can just put a brake on there. However, the Sacred Suppressor is like by far the best in slot on it, and it does make the gun a lot better as far as the bounce of the recoil is concerned. So if you guys have never given it a go, absolutely recommend give the AK-101 a try. You will enjoy. And now, moving on to my final favorite gun build of the wipe. It's a Glock 17. So, anytime that I have a very, very bad day in EFT, what I will do is I will grab a pistol, I'll go do some nighttime raids, and I will just go around doinking scavs, doinking other relatively naked players, because a lot of people, you know, they just run nighttime raids, you know, like with just like a shotgun and a backpack or something just to go make some money. So those end up being the people that I'm primarily fighting. However, when I'm running this, I will try and put PvP ammo in it. Either that or AP63 at the minimum. A lot of the times I will end up like, you know, killing a Chad who's got like GP NVGs or something. And when you do that with a pistol, it is one of the absolute most satisfying feelings in Escape from Tarkov. And in my opinion, the Glock 17, I think, is just one of the best guns as far as pistols are concerned. Like, it's one of the best pistols in the game for sure. A lot of people really like the SR1MP. For me, I'm not a big fan. I've never really had a lot of luck with the SR1MP. A lot of people like the 5.7. Again, kind of same thing. I've been let down by the 5.7 a lot, but I've never really been let down by the Glock. Just because the thing's an absolute beam. It has absolutely zero recoil. The RMR on top of it is nice. You can have a flashlight, you can have a laser, you can have the infrared if you want the increased point firing accuracy or grouping. You know, you can set it up so you can put one of these on it, put another optic on it. It's completely up to you. But for me, I run the Spartan slide along with the gold threaded barrel, and then I put the tactical grip on there along with the little Glock stock as well. And then this brake, and I believe that all of these parts are in fact the best in slot for the Glock if you're not running it suppressed, because I think the Osprey, no, it just reduces the ergonomics. Yeah, so this is the best loud Glock you can pretty much build. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you've never used a Glock like this before where you fully kitted it out, I would absolutely recommend giving it a try. It might surprise you. Zero recoil, great ergonomics. You can just flick around with this thing, no problem. Go take it to a nighttime raid if you're going to go run stashes. Use it to defend yourself. Use it in the resort, you know, kill scabs. You can I've even killed Sani with this gun like a few times. And yeah, this has just been one of my ultimate like backup. I'm having such a shit day. This gun is super cheap to run. Even with all the best in slot configuration, the most money you're going to spend on this is going to go on the ammo. And other than that, it's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoy it. And if you guys haven't tried it, I can not recommend it more. So lads, that is my top 5 list. Now, are there other guns that, you know, I kind of wanted to include but didn't? Yes. Why was that? Because I've had a lot of bad luck with SMGs recently. I was going to put my MPX build on here that I take out sometimes, or my MP5 build that I take out sometimes. And also the 45 Vector for me, that was definitely one of my top 5 favorites. But man, I have run that gun a lot this wipe with AP rounds, and it has done nothing but let me down. I don't know what is going on with the 45 Vector. Maybe I've just been really unlucky with it. But for me, that gun has just absolutely sucked melons this wipe. I don't know what's going on. I shoot people in the face, nothing happens. Maybe it's time for me to graduate and just move on to using the 9mm Vector instead. I don't know, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the list. Hopefully you guys like some of the builds. If you've never tried any of these guns out before, I'd absolutely recommend giving them a go. And if you do give them a try, let me know how you feel about them in the comments down below. So lads, thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what videos you would like to see in the future. Leave a comment down below. I might end up making it. So guys, make sure to follow all the links down in the description. Twitter, Discord, Twitch, YouTube, subscribe, all of that kind of good stuff. You guys know the drill at this point, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching, my dudes.